Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Mythgard in Middle-earth. I am Corey Olsen, the Tolkien Professor, and I am excited to be back with you. Sorry, I'm a little bit late today, later than usual. That is, film ended a little bit late. Well, later than usual. That is, heated discussion today about the Balrog rule, which it's and a lot of we had to think a lot about the sun and moon, and the tides. It was a big day. So, but we finished our Silmarillion film discussion for today, and Grifflet is back. But as you can see, you can't see him, right? Because Grifflet, although I'm joined as always by Grifflet, he is in stealth mode already, as he is keen to avenge the ignominious defeat which he suffered at the end of last week's stream at the hands of the Ox Clan while he was not paying attention. And he's ready to return to action and to get his own back against the Ox Clan. Yeah. Oh, Mario, you're welcome for answering your question. You are stuck in company-wide anti-harassment training. I always can't help but think that that's kind of ironic, right? But anyway. Okay, so would I like a stealth healer on hand? Druidsfire, why on earth would you think that I would need such a thing, right? As if Grifflet would be in any danger. Seriously, but I mean, no, I think fairly soon I'm going to be going out of the reach of stealth healing, as I recall. But I'm going to try to get back to... I think I should finish up here in the Gravenwood and get back to Talmeth Edros today, if I'm remembering the sequence correctly. So, because we did the Kraken last time, so it's good. All right. Yeah, I know because I died last time. I'm kidding. But I'm sure I'll be fine. Hang on. I was in the middle, though, of being confused, as I recall. Right, the scouting. I'm still trying to figure out the scouting. So here I am in Ruvo Cadlus, attempting to scout. What do I need to do? I need to defeat one more of them. Right? And so one of the problems that emerged last time, that it turns out when you need to defeat one more of them, defeating one at a time rather than like 4 at a time turns out a better plan, or at least more cunning strategy. So hang on now. So the scouting thing is the green circle, which is the one that's in the middle of the lake. Yeah, so Mario, last time was the Lloyd Alexander cameo. Yeah, we got the Kraken last time. I was so excited about that. Here we go. I'm going to sneak up. I'm going to burgle from the bushes. Oh, a little bit. Oh, come on. Grifflet, you are out of practice. Failing to burgle any items. Okay. All right, Grifflet, strong work. You've defeated all the folks you needed to defeat, but okay, so we've headed off the stampede. We have collected food. So now we just have to figure out what on earth, or where on earth, this scouting is meant to be happening. Maybe it's that little bit of land at the foot of the rock. Let's see. Is this where I need to scout? No? It's not this ore deposit that I needed to scout? Alright. We're scouting. We're looking. I don't even know what I'm looking for. Here? By the totem? Looks like an ox totem. I don't know. The trigger is on a rock north of the pond? Really? On that rock? Oh, what, do I have to get up there for a vantage point? Okay. All right. Here, Grifflet is a little too engaged in the on the ground scouting here. He wants to be right in the midst of things. He wasn't thinking of getting the eagle eye view over here. Okay, all right, there we go. So you say I can trigger it probably from that rock, right? That looks plausible. Aha! Oh, wait. Where? Oh! How did I not notice the banner of the white hand up on this rock? I'd have scouted that more quickly. You know what I like about this banner of the white hand? What I like about this banner of the white hand is that the hand model that seems to have been employed by whoever made this hand does not really seem to be human. Doesn't it seem like a kind of an orc claw thing? I mean, I suppose it could just be a clumsily, painted hand. But, okay. No, the sparklies were for that random chest, which has treasure in it, but no quest significance that I could tell to justify the sparklies. So, okay, all right. Now we are ready. See, like, there's another one. Sparkly chest, which is really just a chest. But as I'm pretty much over fighting the Ox Clan, I am just going to sneak my way back up the cliff that I jumped down the first time. And Grifflet is going to go report back to Rohirrim Scout number 2, as I recall, because I still have a third one to scout. And the first one has been about the Dragon Clan, and the second one has been about the Ox Clan. And if the third one makes any scandalous and libelous accusations against the Stag Clan, then he and I might have to have words. But, okay. So, let's see. Can we de-sneak? I think we can. All right. De-sneak. It's kind of like, in the Holy Grail when they say dismount. Okay. All right. Oh, a recent update added the sparklies to chests and lootable corpses. Really? So they all sparkle? Oh, I'm not a fan of that change. I like the sparklies to tell me when quest-related objects are going on, right? I mean, if I don't notice a lootable corpse, that's my business, isn't it? Anyway. Okay. That's interesting. All right.
Time is short.
You wish you could have seen the wild man's face. Oh, right. Yeah, that was when I defeated their chieftain by putting that. Yeah, okay. When I put the skull on the table. Okay, I'm remembering. They have a sense of humor which can be insulted. Well, that's one take home, I suppose, that you could take home from it. Scorched oxide helmet? Nah, I don't think so. We're good. All right. Hey, I think Griffith's going to level up today. I have a feeling.
Dunlanding's rally to
the White Hand is a symbol used by Saruman the White. Dude, believe it or not, I think that Saruman is a traitor. I really do. I am willing to take that one to the bank. I've seen plenty of evidence. And, yeah. Shocking, I know, right? But
time is short.
I should teach the wild men a lesson.
So is hope.
Oh, right. Like by letting them kill me like that? Yes, I agree. That should teach them a lesson, which I'm afraid is, don't be afraid of me. But, oh, right, he's way down in the south. All right. Okay. Hey, lore question. R4, excellent. Okay. Let's see. All right, hang on. Sorry, I'm without my assistant today. Okay, let's see. Why do the elves not develop any more advanced technology since the First Age? Really interesting question, R4. Is it because of the fading or trying to avoid subjecting nature? Really great question. Sorry, making sure I don't ride off a cliff in my enthusiasm for this question. Okay, why do the elves not develop more advanced technology? So, couple reasons one can imagine for this. One reason, I'm at the mustering tree, sorry. Where am I? Okay, here's where I'm going. Oh, no, orc chasing me. That's okay. Found a road. Making progress now. All right, we want to follow this road off to the right. Good. Let's not get lost while I answer questions. So, first of all, point of contact. We talked about, and you'll have to forgive me, I spend so much of my week broadcasting to different audiences in different places that I often forget where I've talked about what. I talked about this in the War of the Ring class last week. Yeah, in the context of the Palantiri. Yeah. Okay, so advanced technology. I don't think I talked about it here, in which case, let me start by explaining that. We do have an example of a culture which develops advanced technology. That happens, and it's the Numenorians. Not like the Gondorians, not just the Numenorians, the Numenorian kingdoms in exile, but the Numenorians on the Isle of Numenor itself. Part of the conception that Tolkien had for Numenor, like why was Numenor so unstoppable, right? Part of the initial conception he had for why Numenor was so unstoppable was that they developed advanced technology. So, you know, when Ar-Pharazôn shows up on the shores of Middle-earth and challenges Sauron, and Sauron comes out and his armies run away and he surrenders to the Numenorians, like why was that so one-sided between... I'm just totally riding past him. There he is. Quest arrow right there in my map. And I'm like, Ar-Pharazôn. Anyway, so the reason that was so lopsided is that he had like cannon. Ar-Pharazôn did. I mean, so they bombarded the shore and the armies of Sauron scatter. Like it was, and this is why also they're a threat to Valinor. When the Numenorians invade Valinor, they're coming with full armaments, right? So they're coming with... There are even some places where he suggested they might even have flying machines, the Numenorians, right? So the Numenorians are advanced technology, possibly even advanced by early 20th century standards, okay? So we do have an example of one of Tolkien's cultures, which he imagined developing advanced technology. So, oh, great, Madam in Malawar, you were just thinking, you're prompting me to talk about this thing that I've been spontaneously talking about anyway. Yeah. So, okay. So this is instructive, though, a little bit, right? I mean, it seems not a coincidence that the only place we see a society develop advanced technology like this is the one that's going really, really far wrong, and that we don't have any evidence of their doing so until they start going really, really far wrong. I would... so it's hard because we only have one data point, right? So to take from one data point a trend, right, to say like, well, there is a definite trend that suggests that societies that develop advanced technology, are evil and corrupted cultures, right? Again, it's hard to draw that conclusion when you only have one example, but it's a pretty good example, actually, and I feel comparatively confident in actually making that claim. Let me say it a different way. I don't think it's a coincidence that the only society in Tolkien's world that he imagines developing advanced technology is a society that's going pretty far wrong at the time that it's doing it. And Mariel, you're right. We do have the goblins in the Hobbit, but they're not developed. I mean, that is, they're associated with bombs and modern warfare, right? But there, Mariel, it's not that they are an advanced technology, but rather he associates them with our advanced technology, right? Or with one subspecies of our advanced technology. But Mariel, that exactly illustrates what I think is the important point here, right? Always, the two primary motivations for advanced technology are to increase mankind's control over its environment and for warfare, right? Those are the two major drivers of technological advance. The latter is obviously and extremely dubious, right? People who spend a lot of time and effort doing R&D projects in order to come up with better and more effective ways to kill each other and blow each other up. It's not a huge stretch to see how that's a pretty shady prospect in Tolkien's world, right? So warfare-driven technology R&D, obviously sketchy, right? The other one, also not hard to see where, if that's not as obviously corrupted as the warfare-driven one, it's still not wholesome, right? The desire for man to be more and more in power, to dominate their environment more and more fully, you just have to say it that way to begin to see how that could look like a kind of a sketchy thing for Tolkien, right? So even things like labor-saving devices. And then when you go and you look at his letters and you look at on fairy stories and other things that he says and the rants that he goes on about technology and modern industrialization and things like that, you can see this particular anxiety, right? That he doesn't think these things are in advance. And that he regrets them, right? That he doesn't think that, like increasing the speed of travel is a net gain, for instance. So yeah, I definitely think that we can see some pretty strong indications that the advance of technology beyond the level that we see technology. One thing to keep in mind, sometimes people say Tolkien is anti-technology. He's not anti-technology, right? I mean, everything that is developed by people is a technology. Like the making of clothes is technology. Everything anybody uses, any tool anyone uses to do anything is technology. It's not, so to say it's anti-technology as a whole is striking flint and steel together to make a spark is technology. But there does seem to be a certain point beyond which Tolkien is not comfortable with technological advancement, right? Or rather thinks that the costs outweigh the benefits, or to say it a different way, the cost, even the moral cost, is too high. And that if you're too focused on it, you have a questionable, at best, view on the world, your relationship with the world, and all that kind of thing. So I believe that it is for these reasons. There's no question that the elves have had plenty of opportunities to advance themselves in technology, right? I mean, like but we do get one example of that, right? We get an example of advanced elvish technology. And that example is Celebrimbor, right? And the Rings of Power. The Rings of Power are elvish technology. They're just not good elvish technology. Who else is... Boy, I'm getting attacked here by two things at once. So, anyway, that didn't end well either, right? And, in as much as that is an example of, an elaboration of elvish technology, it's a dubious example. Even the Three Rings are themselves kind of dubious. That desire to preserve nature, to exert control over the world in order to preserve it, right? In order to, enshrine it, to embalm it, potentially, is not a great idea. It's not a corrupt, it's not an evil desire, but it's not wholesome either. It's not necessarily a good idea. Marielle, that's a great example. Marielle says that nitrogen fertilizer has vastly reduced the possibilities of famine in the developed world, but the same man who invented that pioneered chemical warfare. I don't think Tolkien would see that as a contradiction. No, and that's exactly the kind of cost-benefit sort of thing that I'm talking about, right? Is it worth it, right? Is crop fertilization worth having at the cost of chemical warfare? And different people can differ on their answers to that question, right? Tolkien's answer was no, that he didn't think it was worth it. Anyhow, cool, good. Let's see. Someone was asking about Saruman. before I answer it, I'm going to talk about this, but I'm trying to go. Oh, Phil. So Saruman was actually recreating gunpowder rather than discovering it for himself. Hang on a second. Let me talk to this dude, and then I'll answer more while I'm doing whatever he tells me to do. All right, Elfrith, what do you say?
Your aid is welcome, friend.
Okay, you have news. A band of orcs wearing a mark of the White Hand has entered the Graven Wood and been clear-cutting the forest. Oh dear. They've been shipping the wood eastward. If you wish to be of further assistance, you may have other tasks. I kind of thought you might. Let's see. All right, what about these orcs? You want me to
Rohirrim
off
are
them?
grateful for your aid.
Okay. They're preparing to wage war on the Dunland Dealings, though I doubt it. Yeah, no, that seems unlikely. To pour out of the Misty Mountains against Rohan seems more likely. Okay, so clear cut the orcs. Treebeard would enjoy that particular play. Okay, sure.
Welcome. Stay a moment and speak with me.
All right, if I enter Akgru to hunt orcs, bring back trophies. That's a little grim. Heads? You want me to bring back their heads? You want to build a wall of orc heads to stand as a warning? It's not really my speed, but...
Welcome. Stay a moment and speak with me.
While you have no care for the Dunlendings in their forest, you wonder how much... See, look at that. Look at that. See, Elfrith, that is just what Treebeard is all about. On the one hand, you're like, the orcs are clear-cutting the forest, so let's clear-cut them. And then you're like, not that I care about what happens to the forest. I mean, please. Who cares, right? You are not altogether on Treebeard's side, Elfrith. That's very good. I mean, it's not good that you're not. It's good that they are representing you as not being entirely on Treebeard's side. Okay, that came out more complicated than I expected it to be, but that's okay. So anyway, you wonder how much wood these orcs have already cut. Okay, this may help decipher for what the wood will be used. Hang on, I need to decipher your syntax first. You want to know what they're using all this wood for? Okay, I will try to sleuth that out. Okay. I'll go to their encampment. I will investigate the wood and determine how much wood the orcs have taken. Okay. All right, will do. Anyway, Saruman. Okay, yes. And JJ, I absolutely agree. Feanor and Celebrimbor both are cautionary tales of focusing too much on the wrong reason for developing your craft. Yeah, craftsmanship is good. Being a maker is a very good thing. But there are makers and makers, you know. There are bad reasons. And in one sense, yeah, I mean, well... No, never mind. I'm changing my mind about what I was just about to say. Yes, if your making is to provide... where are we? Down this way? Okay. If the making that you're doing... Stealth yourself, Griffith. Let's be efficient about this. Is designed to... Like, the more functional... It is. Well, again, it depends on the function, right? There's nothing wrong with something being great and being beautiful and being functional. But if the purpose of what you're doing is, has to do with domination in the way that it really clearly did for... hang on, I can't get it. Whoa, we're getting really steep over here. Let's go back down and go around by the road. What do you say, Griffin? Then yeah, that's pretty dubious. Okay, but Phil, your Saruman question. So Saruman was rediscovering gunpowder, rather than discovering it for the first time. Yes, in the sense that it had been discovered before, right? So, he wasn't coming up with it absolutely from scratch. Did he uncover a Númenórean recipe, for gunpowder and utilize that in his researches? I don't see any reason to believe that. Might he have come across some stories of old Númenor, maybe even in Orthanc, right? In the library there, and read some, lingering legends about the things that the Númenóreans, the ancient Númenóreans, could do and had done, and heard about their combustion engines and their explosive weapons, and I've completely missed the entrance to the orc place. How do you get into this place? From the north? Anyway, yeah. So it is possible that he in that way kind of was inspired by the Númenóreans, but he clearly would have had. I can't imagine that like there was a book in the library of Orthanc that was just like, take some saltpeter, and So I think it was. Can I get up that way? Nope. All right, guess I have to go around the other side. Now, Marielle, but that's an excellent question. We do have, JJ, it would be just like that. It would be just like the rediscovery of Greek fire, right? So there were the legends about how, the Byzantines had this Greek fire, this liquid that they could spray from their boats that would make anything burn and would even burn on the surface of the water. And it didn't even need to be ignited, but nobody knew how it was made, right? So the legend of the Greek fire persisted, but yet its use was lost to the world. Yes, like that, except fewer people know about it, right? So they don't even have a sort of a category for it. It would be kind of like that. But yeah, exactly, Marielle. I doubt he found a Númenórean Technology for Dummies book at the library of Orthanc. But Marielle, your question about Gandalf's fireworks is a fascinating question. And we don't know. We absolutely don't know. It's never explained. We know that Gandalf has skill with smokes and lights, right? But what does that mean? I failed again, Grifflet. Come on. You gotta really put your big boy burgoing boots on. Oh, hey, look at that. You also ambushed this guy cunningly right in the middle of like 3 other guys. So this is going to get exciting. Oh, that guy's going to ignore you pointedly, though? Okay. I see. Anyway, so are Gandalf's fireworks, do they contain gunpowder? No. My guess would be no, that Gandalf's fireworks don't contain gunpowder. Now, on the one hand, in general, right, Gandalf's fireworks seem to be in the category of awkward things inhabited from The Hobbit, right? There are lots of things in that category, right? Stuff that he mentioned or included in The Hobbit because he was writing a totally different kind of story, when he was writing The Hobbit. And then when he comes back to this stuff in The Lord of the Rings, he is kind of stuck with some of the things that he said in The Hobbit and might have done it differently. Okay, so where's the wood? The wood seems to be mostly on fire. There are no logs that are not on fire. Let's see. I'm trying, Nitesh. I'm trying. Let's see. Go. Do it. Yes! Oh, you burgled a healing potion. Strong work there, Grifflet. Okay, so anyhow, what was I talking about? Totally distracted myself. Hobbit inheritance, yes. So Gandalf's fireworks are alluded to in The Hobbit. When Bilbo alludes to Gandalf's fireworks in Chapter 1 of The Hobbit, my suspicion is that at the time, like in 1931 or whenever it was exactly that he was writing Chapter 1 of The Hobbit, my suspicion is that he was imagining that Gandalf was using gunpowder. Gandalf is a professional wizard. And he remains a professional wizard even into the initial drafts of The Lord of the Rings. So I suspect that it was involved with fireworks at first, but I don't think it stayed that way. I think that by the time we get into The Lord of the Rings, he keeps fireworks associated with Gandalf, but he seems to shift it around. I think that the devilry of Saruman, right? The gunpowder of Saruman is an imitation of Gandalf, essentially. They've cut a large amount of wood. Hang on, wait. I'm going to wait to... Oh, Bergwin. Oh, he's going to come up here. I'll wait for him to pass. Anyway, so that would fit the dynamic, the Saruman-Gandalf dynamic, as Tolkien goes on to develop it through the course of The Lord of the Rings and immediately afterwards. That... Because Saruman had a kind of a... Ooh, I got another healing potion. Look at that. Saruman in the later conceptions kind of has Gandalf issues. Like, he has kind of Gandalf envy issues. That's why he starts smoking, because Gandalf smokes, and he thinks it's cool, and he wants to be like Gandalf when he grows up. So, and just is envious of anything that Gandalf has that he doesn't have. So, I have enough heads. Oh, good. Oh, hey, look at this. We're making progress. Just got to kill 2 more orcs and we're done. I can head back towards the exit. Of course, I can also just jump off the cliff. Anyway, so yeah, I suspect that Gandalf's... Whoa, I took his halberd? Oh man, that is a pretty serious piece of burglary right there. I stole his polearm while he wasn't looking. Huh? That's not quite as good as stealing somebody's pants without them noticing, but stealing somebody's polearm out of their hand without them noticing is pretty legendary, I still have to say. Anyway, okay, oh, that's 9. One more. Hey, come back here, you. Come back here before you get to the other guys. Thank you. Come back over here. Come back over here. Oh, darn it. I didn't see that one. Oh, well, I attracted 2 of them anyway. That's fine. Yeah. So anyway, so what I was in the middle of saying, though, was I suspect that Saruman's, or obviously Gandalf's fireworks come first because they're in The Hobbit. But I suspect that Saruman only develops gunpowder, in a sense, because Gandalf has fireworks, right? That it's an imitation of Gandalf, or rather, it's like I can do the same kind of stuff that Gandalf does, except I, do it in a dubious technological way rather than in a fun magical way like Gandalf. Because, Marielle, it's a lot like the chemical warfare thing, right? Is fertilizer worth having at the cost of chemical weapons, right? It's an even more direct question to say, are fireworks worth having at the cost of bombs, right? Because at the end of the day, fireworks are just little bombs after all, right? And I think the answer to that one is clearly no. So yeah, I definitely think that Gandalf is not using fireworks. He's not using fireworks. He's not using gunpowder in his fireworks. Okay. All right. I saw another lore question come in. Oh, wait. Okay, Gassy Moose has a question. Let's see. All right. Question in Book Club. Who do I think of all the major characters in The Lord of the Rings would take and complete the quest to get the ring to Mount Doom and drop it in? Ah, yes, I saw this. I think on Twitter or something. Somebody tweeted this question too. So I've been thinking about that a little bit. Who do I think... Well, it depends on how you're asking that question. And also, there's an even more open question about whether or not I can possibly find this well-concealed Rohirric dude while talking about anything else, because I seem not to be able to. But, okay. So Gatsimus, it depends, I think, on the emphasis. If the emphasis is in who would have definitely succeeded where Frodo failed, I think the answer is nobody. I think Frodo got as far as anybody else could have gotten. I don't think that there is anyone... I mean, Gandalf does not think that there's anybody else who could have done it. Aragorn doesn't think that anybody else could have done it. He tells him that in advance. So I don't think that we can say these other people, like Frodo came really close. These other people would have done even better. I don't think anybody would have done better than Frodo. But if the question is, who do I think would have been like the number one backups to Frodo, right? You know, if not Frodo, then who would have done best of everybody else? JJ, it's hard to disagree with your two options there of Faramir and Sam. I gotta go with Sam. See here, Tom Bombadil. Yeah. Tom Bombadil. Last week. Hang on, let me talk to this guy first. Then let me tell you about Tom Bombadil. About what Tom Bombadil did last week, because it was amazing.
Greetings.
Okay, yep. So no, the Rohirrim are not to be trifled with, and neither is Grifflet, because he's level 73 now. Oh yeah. And getting attacked. Look at that. See, the Krabine never learn. Don't you realize you're blue to me now, you done Krabine, you? Anyway, okay. All right, and
your aid
yeah, here are your heads.
Friend.
Clan weave robe, huh? Nah. A cloak? A shieldman's woolen cloak? Hang on. Let's take a look at this. What do we have here? Let's see. Ah, it's a wolf cloak. I've had that before. That's disappointing. I was hoping it'd have like a Rohirric shield on it. That would have been cool. Oh well. Okay. And
welcome and
the
well
orcs
met,
are
my
preparing
friend.
for war. Yeah, there was a ton of wood, like a ton of wood, and I'm not going to Spring Festival. Yeah. Okay. All right, back to Leofward. Okay, so Tom. Okay, what Tom Bombadil did last week. I've got some of the latest celebrity gossip about Tom Bombadil. Guess what he did? He sang a song about the color of his own clothing, right? And then was scandalously devoted to his wife. But anyway, no, seriously. So last week in session 4 of the War of the Ring class, for those of you who don't know, we're discussing, pretty much discussing our way through the History of Middle-earth series, which has been so fantastic. And we're in volume 8 now doing the War of the Ring, which is volume 3 of the History of the Lord of the Rings. So we're going through Christopher Tolkien's edition of the manuscript, Tolkien's initial manuscripts, as he was drafting the Lord of the Rings. And in last week's class, we talked about this note, and it's just Tolkien making a series of notes, just like notes to self. And they were things like, okay, I have to remember to put in a reference. It was right after they were trying to descend from the Emyn Wheel, so they were just like, got the rope. So he's like, note to self, I have to go back in and put in the rope, right? So, because he didn't originally put the scene where the elves put the rope in the boats, and Sam's like, phew, I'm so glad I have a rope now, right? That was added in, that was retconned back in after he's like, they're up a cliff, I need them to have a rope, let's get a rope. So he's like, okay, note to self, I got to go put the rope back in. And he's also like, note to self, I'm going to change that business in the first draft. The 3 elvish rings were made by Sauron. And then he's like, no, I want to have the rings untouched by Sauron. They're uncorrupted. They were just made by the elves. So I got to go back into the Council of Elrond and fix that, which he does. And then in the middle of it, right in the middle of those 2 notes, which were just notes about things that he needs to retcon. Okay, we're fine. I'll keep following the road, which though it's inefficient. He says, Tom Bombadil could have destroyed the ring if they'd asked. And it's like, what? What? Where did that come from? Tom Bombadil could have destroyed the ring? He just drops that in a marginal note? Like, but they didn't ask. Tee-hee. And I'm like, oh my goodness. It's simply like, for my money, the most mind-blowing sentence Tolkien ever wrote in like any of the margins of his, like any of his notes, things that he ended up not really doing or anything. That is by far the most amazing moment. Tom Bombadil could have destroyed the ring if they'd thought to ask him, right? Unbelievable. Now, I don't think that he stuck with that idea, and the stuff that they say about Tom Bombadil and the Council of Elrond in the published text suggests that Tolkien abandoned that idea as quickly as he thought of it. But that he thought of it still really blows my mind. I mean, wow. I was just like, I'd totally forgotten that, or maybe I never read it. It was in the notes, like at the end of the chapter. So anyway, I was looking at this on the page and I was just like staring at it with my mouth open. Anyway, so Tom Bombadil, yeah, okay. Tom Bombadil probably could have done it, but he wouldn't have done. So would he have succeeded better than Frodo? No. I mean, he had the capability of doing it, but he wouldn't have done it. He wouldn't have taken it all the way to the cracks of doom. Farmer Maggot, that's a really good suggestion, JJ. I think that Farmer Maggot's a good candidate. Anyway, so Tom Bombadil could have done it, but no, that's not happening. I think that Sam is more likely as a backup, more likely than Aragorn and Faramir, and I don't just say that because I am a completely unabashed Samwise Gamgee fanboy.
Greetings,
hold that
friend of the Rohirrim.
Okay, my news is distressing. Hey, I took care of things, but I know that the orcs are... Let them consume the Dunlending's wood. See, what would Treebeard say, Leofward? You gotta think about this from a forest perspective. But, okay. Companies of Dunlending warriors trouble you. A converging on the mustering tree, as its name implies, right? Yeah, that shouldn't really be a surprise under the circumstances, but okay. Despite the enmity the Dragluth have shown to their own countrymen, I think it more likely that both companies are meeting as allies to join the host gathering in Wolf's Cleft. Okay, yeah, you think about that problem. A Berserker's Talisman, huh? Oh, I'll stick with my iron-banded boar tusk, thanks. We got some gauntlets here. Yeah, a mantle. Well, that's fine. Okay.
Welcome.
You're distressed. You fear that Cuthric's insolent goading of the Ox Clan captain has compromised our mission. I thought that was not a great idea when he suggested it. Both companies now converge on the mustering tree, and I fear that once they have combined their strength, they will overrun our camp, and Theodred will have to fall back. Okay, I should join Thurbald, Elfrith, and Cuthric to make a stand against the foe. So, you're afraid that they're going to overwhelm your whole camp, but you want the four of us to hold them off. I get it. Forlorn hope. We'll stand in the gap and let you guys escape. We're like, this is great. Okay, except... this is going to be fantastic. This is going to be Grifflet in the fens of Serech. Yeah. Well, I'll hold him off while you guys escape. You withdraw like Turgon into Gondolin, and I'll hold him off at the mustering tree.
But I am uncertain that facing the combined might of the Ox Clan and the Dragon Clan is the wisest course of action.
Yeah, you think?
Perhaps with the hero's aid, they may indeed stave off the storm.
Maybe we'll stave off the storm. Maybe opposing two clans at once is not a great plan. Yeah, plan. We are few. Okay. If the battle goes ill, take Longstride and escape the battle. No way! To arms! Yeah. I might look like I ran away, but I didn't. I just stealthed myself, and I'm going to let you guys tank, all right? But I'm here, and I'm ready. Let us guard Theodred's escape. Hey, where are you going? They're over here. Okay, you guys take those, I'll take these. How about that then? Here we go. Alright, so I was going to let you guys tank, but then you ran the wrong way, so I guess like you're just leaving it to me, which is fine. I can handle it and everything. Oh, it's a rider from the Ox Clan. Okay. We're good. Oops, that was the wrong button. Meant to hit that one. Okay. Oh, all right. Hey, who are you? Oh, no, you're a good guy. Okay. All right. Ready? Where were we making a stand? This is not working out climactically enough. We're supposed to be like the men of Hithlum and the Fens of Sarek. So, okay, here we are. Two of you ganging up on one dude? That's not very much like the Fens of Sarek. How am I supposed to sound like Hurin? Oh, here we go. All right. Oh, this is a little bit better. Okay. We still kind of outnumber them, which seems not right, but that's okay. Here we go. And day shall come again. It was 5-on-1, so again, not quite the effect that I had in mind. So we're running, we're going, oh, there's the horse. Hi, oh, here we go. We've got another stray one Dunlending to fight. I think we can, ooh, another one. They're coming thickly now. Oh, was I stunned? I was stunned. Come on, Captain. I got you. You and me. We'll take care of this. I'll fight you without a stealth healer and pretend that Druid's Fire isn't getting nervous about it. Because we're fine. Right, Mr. Oxclane Captain, it's you and me, because those Rohirrim, they just ran off again. Right? Who knows where they're headed or what their plan is. Oh, here they come, which means the fight must be almost over. Okay. Here we go. Darkness, take me. That one's cursing me from over there. I'm not even over there, dude. I mean, maybe you heard the despairing final screams of your captain over there, whom I was attempting to fight single-handedly in a noble and chivalric combat. And then that other dude came over and stabbed him in the back. Okay. Whew. Okay. Oh, yeah, Druid's Fire. I got mad skills here, right? There is nobody who can stand up to Grifflet here. Okay. Stop Arg. Oh, no, that's him. Begging for mercy. Okay, they're asking for quarter, guys, so, you know, if your enemies ask for a quarter. Okay. So anyway, so more lower. So let me explain, Gussie Moose, why I think not Faramir or Aragorn, either. Look, both of them, both Aragorn and Faramir have awesome intentions, obviously, right? And both of them have opportunities to take the ring for themselves and don't. So we know that they have, you know, the capacity to resist the lure of the ring, right? So therefore, both of them are good candidates. They have a positive track record with resisting the ring. So, you know, there's definitely something to be said in both cases. But one thing that seems fairly clear as the story goes on is that the more power you have, the more capable you are of claiming the ring and using it for yourself, the more danger you are in from it. You know, would the resolution of Aragorn and Faramir have held had they gotten into Mordor the way that Frodo has? I mean, I know it's really hard. It's really hard for me, too, to imagine Aragorn or Faramir claiming the ring for themselves, right? You know, to imagine them failing in that test at the end of the day. So I can totally see the argument that would say, well, clearly they would have done at least as well, right, if not better, than Frodo. But the thing is, Frodo's failing is not very readily imaginable either, right? I mean, the whole point is, how would they have been changed? Frodo was changed, by what happens, by the power of the ring at the end. Remember how Frodo is like, remember that business with Frodo's hand, right? How he asks Sam to hold his hand because he can't restrain it. I mean, the strength of the will of the ring, like his own will is still set against it, and yet he can't stop himself from reaching out to take it. So the question is, what would have happened to Aragorn or Faramir in that kind of a situation? Obviously, they have strong strength of will, so, it's not that I'm suggesting that they would, necessarily, like, that would their wills have fallen short? It would have attacked them differently. And I don't know. I mean, it's hard. It's always hard to sort of imagine if the story that's told were a totally different story, what would the people in the story have been like? It's like, well, I can't tell because the people aren't in that story that I'm asking about. Oh, hey, are all the other Rohirrim dead? I wasn't supposed to keep them alive, was I? I'm just supposed to defend the mustering tree from forces, right? Okay, so they fought a good fight. So now, finally, we're back. We're into Fens of Serech territory, right? Here I stand alone against the forces. As they come, so I can hang on. Wait for it. Wait for it. Hang on. Let's heal myself. Shall we do that? Let's not die at this point of the thing. Okay. Day shall come again. There we go. That was good. I like it. Okay. You got this, Grifflet. Just don't let anybody shoot you in the eye. Day shall come again. Oh, this is more what I had in mind. You'll never take me alive. I will cut off your arms and hands if you try it. Ha ha. Okay. Whew. There we go. Yes. Okay. All right. So, yeah. Sorry, I wasn't trying to, be all grim about, my companions dying. It was just a little bit more. It was like the idiom that I was going for there. Okay.
Welcome and well met, my friend.
You were rendered unconscious, but you survived. Great. Excellent. See, that's good. Yeah, it could have been worse, right? You could have taken a venomed arrow in the eye. Which always seemed to me like orc overkill, frankly. But, okay, when they removed themselves from the mustering tree, your ranger friend found me and brought me back here. Okay. You'll live. The others are lost forever, but in song. I'll always remember them. They will hinder the war efforts of the Dunlandings. Okay, ooh, a cloak. Can I get a cloak to... Let's see. What's this one look like? Oh, I've had that one too. It's like the wing one. I want to keep the abomination one. I like that one. I don't suppose it's an upgrade, is it? Nah. Okay. All right.
The Rohirrim
What do you
are
think?
grateful for your aid.
Word has come via Krabon from one of the Boar clan scouts who are aiding us. Huella reports that she may have found the witch. The old woman of the mountain! Oh, right, near the road to Tamethedros. Let's go! Okay, coming to a conclusion. Excellent. All right, let's do this.
Greetings, friend of the Rohirrim.
Oh, Huor got the venomed arrow in the eye. Huor did, yeah. Where am I going? Oh, I can't just go straight up the road, huh? Fine. Fine, I'll ride my own self all the way up to Tamethedros. Okay. Yeah, see, Maven, aren't you impressed at my cosmetic savvy? Right? Absolutely. I am such a pro when it comes to cosmetics. I mean, hey, look at how many cosmetic slots I've paid to open, right? I've only got one more unopened because that's the kind of cosmetically conscious player I am. Is this the right road for Mordor? Okay. All right, that's good. Excellent. So, let's see. Did I finish, Guysy Moose, talking about your question? I think I vaguely, sort of, kind of did. Yeah. I don't know how it would have happened. Like, had Faramir or Aragorn taken the ring, would they have fallen? I think, yes, they would have fallen. What would that have looked like? See, that I don't know. That is, to me, an even more interesting what-if question, but a much harder one, right? What would that have looked like? What would Faramir or Aragorn being corrupted by the ring look like? Is this my little friend? No, it's not my little friend. I don't know you. Hi, Huella. It's Huella Deville.
Leave us alone.
It is well that I have come. It is known among my people that the old woman of the mountain is called such because she dwells upon the heights of the mountain. Oh, that mountain. I thought she was the old woman of that mountain up in Edidwythe. So it turns out we were looking on the wrong mountain for the old woman of the mountain. Okay. You've discovered a path leading from the road to Tel Methedros up the mountainside. There is an evil air about the path, so you will not go there, but you believe this may well be the path my friend Cyrodion seeks. He seeks a path? Which one? Okay. Tell Cyrodion. I gotta go all the way back? Can I take a horse from here?
Greetings.
No.
Will you remain here long?
These stable masters are seriously anti-shortcut on these quests. Okay. So, what would Aragorn have looked like? Well, see, here's the thing. Here's where it really gets interesting. Aragorn, certainly. Faramir, probably, would have had the power to oppose Sauron. Like, had Aragorn taken the ring and claimed it for himself, he presumably could have, like, there on the cracks of doom. He's there on the cracks of doom, and he claims the ring for himself. Could he have overthrown Sauron and taken his place? Possibly. Possibly. Yeah. Yeah, you think Aragorn might have been a bit like Gandalf's temptation? Yeah, I suspect so.
How can I be of service?
Okay. Huella found the path, but none had traveled it recently. All right, and since she fled like a little scared thing from the little Kraken incident that we had, she didn't go up there. Okay. She must seek refuge with Saruman or find her way back to her own abode. So if she appears at Orthanc in defeat, she will not find herself welcomed, you think? Okay. All right, Cyrodion. Though Gwillian is not dead and will likely return again unless we do the skirmish, I believe my duties here are ended. Okay. Halbrand and the Grey Company will have need of me in the south. Speak with Leofward before we go, but you doubt... Oh, I already did. Okay, anyway, that's fine. But I doubt not that the horsemen will also retreat. Emlon and I will remain here. If Gwillian returns, she must be dealt with. Okay, agreed. Don't worry, I'll hunt her down. Maybe we'll do the skirmish. What do you say? Oh, there's Leofward. Okay, here we go.
Welcome and well met,
Your mission
my
here
friend.
was a success and a failure. Okay, well, there you are. We can no longer tarry here, for the Ox and Dragon clans are aware of our presence, but I am glad you are admitting that the Stag clan is no threat to you. We will come along as we can, but in the meantime journey south to Forthbrand in the Isendale and report to Ardwin. Okay. Now here's where I want to go back to the epic, right? Which one do I do next? Should I follow his vector quest down to the Isendale, or do I go back up to Talmouth Edros now? What do you guys think? What do you guys think I should do in order to do the sequence better? Don't go back up to Talmouth Edros yet? Or don't do this yet? Where's my thing? Dunland, Gravenwood. Okay. I have to bring ill news to somebody. So don't do Talmouth Edros yet. I'll come back to the camp after the epic is done. Right. So if I come back to this camp after the epic is done, then I should continue down and do the thing? Wait. You guys are confusing me. I should do the epic now. Thumbs up on the epic line right now. Do the epic first. Okay. Go to Talmouth Edros. All right. I will do that. Phil, you're wondering what I still have of the volume 2. All that I didn't do was some of the epilogue quests. Yeah. I didn't do all the epilogues. I did some, but not all the epilogues. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, help the people of the Gravenwood, and when I'm ready to move on, report to Lou Brennan. Okay. All right. Good. All right, we'll do that then. Then let me get rid of that one. We'll come back to that one. Oops. Okay. All right, back up to Tour Morva, and then it's going to be about time to go, actually. I'm not going to have time to do much in Tour Morva. So, Ethelod, could you repeat your lore question? It got washed downstream there. That happens sometimes. Give me your lore question. I'll give it a shot, Ethelod. Make sure I have space for the cosmetics. Ooh, the end of volume, the Ranger cosmetics? Yeah. Grifflet needs his Ranger cosmetics. So yeah, Ethelod, repeat your lore question and we'll see what we can do. Meantime, we ride back up this same trail that we just came down. Okay. Ooh, the prisoner cosmetics. Yeah. I've been looking forward to those with Grifflet, actually. Yeah. I think I'm going to use my last cosmetic slot on them. Yeah, the prison cosmetics, or what I call the Dread Pirate Roberts costume. Yes. Yes. Okay. All right. Here we are back in at Tour Morva. Excellent. All right. I really like how that... I wasn't at this angle before. You can see how that Numenorian castle, which the Gondorian castle, which is overlooking the lake, also overlooks the entrance here, right? So that it's not really fortifying the valley, but keeping a weather eye out, right? Okay. And... great. All right. Let me get back up to Lou Brennan. Yeah, we're getting late. It's almost time to go pick up my kids. But we'll get up to Lou Brennan and report to him. All right. We got some rangers still hard at work here in Tour Morva. Ah, yes, Ethelwald, there you go. What is the relationship between the Nonoine dragons and the elves? Ooh. How sentient are the dragons? Ooh. I can definitely sign your History of Middle-earth at London Moot, no question. Okay. Non-aligned dragons. It reminds me of, like, you know, the alliance, the Confederation of Non-Aligned Planets in Babylon 5. Are there non-aligned dragons? See, Tolkien's world does not really contain good dragons. Dragons are always bad. I mean, Chrysophylax Dives has his moments, right? I mean, he and Farmer Giles of Ham develop a constructive working relationship and build mutual respect over time. But he still has an evil heart, Chrysophylax Dives does. So even in Farmer Giles of Ham, we don't really get a good dragon. And so all the dragons are pretty much bad. Not all of them are actually operating. Some of them are free agents, right? But not all of them are operating within so they're not operating within the context of Morgoth's armies, but they're all bad. They're all chromatic, not metallic, JJ. Exactly. Yeah, the metallic good dragons, in the Dungeons and Dragons world or the Dragonlance world, not a factor. So when he said that people from both sides fought on the battle, did he include the dragons? Can't have done. No, I don't think so. I don't think he was counting the dragons there. I mean, there weren't like orcs and trolls fighting on both sides either. So, I mean, I think it's when he says there were representatives of everybody fighting there, I think it's like all the free peoples, not even birds and beasts, but not creatures of the enemy. Creatures of the enemy were pretty clearly fighting on Sauron's side there. So, the League of Non-Aligned Planets. I knew I was close to it. Confederation didn't feel quite right. Yes, the League of Non-Aligned Planets. Anyway, yeah. So, no, dragons aren't affiliated with Sauron officially, just because he kind of doesn't outrank them, right? He has to negotiate with Smaug. Sauron does. The dragons might very well say to Sauron, dude, you're not the boss of us, right? But it's not like they're not on the same side, right? It's just that their side is evil, and evil people don't get along famously. Like, you don't get corporate spirit, on the side of the bad guys. They're not gonna, fight together for the sake of, fond memories in the old school tie. So they're both evil, and so they have similar ends, and so they may work together, as it seems indeed Tolkien suggests that Smaug and Sauron were fixing to work together. But Sauron probably could pull rank on some of the dragons. I bet that he could talk them around or browbeat them into doing that. But anyway, I think that's so yeah. So it's not about alignment in that way. They are free agents in the sense that they're serving their own evil purposes. But so as for what is their relationship with elves, which Ethelwyn, I think was your original question there, it's enemies. Yeah. Predator and prey would be the relationship between dragons and elves. I mean, I would think that dragons would retain long enough memories to be still kind of embittered against elves for the whole Beleriand experience, but would probably not be afraid of elves. They don't come into conflict with elves as much as they do with dwarves, because they don't share as much in common with elves, right? Elves don't share the dragon's little treasure obsession, so the dwarves, there's more of a built-in conflict of interest between the dwarves and the dragons, because they're both after the same resources, namely treasure. Whereas with elves, not so much. But yeah, I think that would the dragons consider the elves like their racial enemies that they should hunt down and kill wherever they find them? No, I wouldn't think so. But they wouldn't like them, and I think that they would hunt them. embittered against elves because of Balerion and vice versa, no doubt. Yeah, absolutely. Really, when you think about it, the dragons versus elves conflicts that we get in the Silmarillion, the dragons kind of win there, right? I mean, there's the dragons that, Glaurung won more times than he lost, and it wasn't an elf that killed him anyway. The only time he did lose, he got beaten twice, right? Once driven off by a dwarf and once killed by a human. So the elves never got the better of Glaurung. And I'm not just thinking forward to Ankalagon the Black and the Winged Dragons in the Battle of Wrath, but of course there are dragons involved in the fall of Gondolin, right? So the dragons kind of won that one too. So yeah, I think I agree, Nitesh. It's definitely favor the dragons are ahead on the scorecard, which is why I was saying I think they might be a little smug towards elves, if anything. Finlay asks if there are dragons in Middle-earth at the end of the Third Age. Yeah. I mean, this is another one of those things that Tolkien has to kind of live with because he put it in The Hobbit. But The Hobbit says that, like, Smaug came down from the place where there are bunches of dragons still living, right? So, yeah, there are still dragons. And this is why I'm really excited to learn the whispers I have been hearing about the new work that Standing Stone is doing in developing Northern Mirkwood. They're doing a lot of dragon stuff, right? And I heard a rumor that there are quest lines about that sort of get at the backstory of why Smaug came down to Erebor in the first place, which I love and I think sound absolutely brilliant. So yeah, because the Withered Heath is up above the Grey Mountains and that's where the dragons breed, and that's where Smaug came from. There is all kinds of license. I was really hoping that when they did, especially when I was looking at the map before, like, hey, there's nothing to stop me doing it now. Map. Let's go. Where are we going? One more out. Let's go to Ravanian. And, the Ravanian map. And let's go to... All right. The Dalelands. We've got the Iron Hills. Do we have anything north? I just wanted to see if we have anything north. No, we don't. But, oh, darn it. I didn't mean to get rid of it entirely. I'm going to go back to the Ravanian map. Ravanian map. Yeah. Okay. So see the Withered Heath. There it is, right there on the map. Right. So pretty close to the Lonely Mountain. In as much as we're going to the Iron Hills and the Grey Mountains, we should be involved with dragons up here. Right. Remember also, like, one of the Fram, the ancestor of the one of the great heroes of the Rohirrim back before they came down to Rohan. Right back when they still lived up in the Vale of Anduin. They lived in the Upper Anduin, which is right over here, right? Not too far from Gundabad. He killed Skatha the Worm, the dragon from whose horde Mary's horn came, right? Skatha the Worm presumably had his lair up here in the Grey Mountains, right? I really want to find the lair of Skatha the Worm. Can we, Standing Stone, can we get the lair of Skatha the Worm? Can we find where Skatha the Worm lived? Would that be possible? Is that too much to ask, that we could find remnants of a quest line that would bring us to Skatha the Worm? I mean, yeah, that would be awesome, wouldn't that? So, anyhow, yeah. Yeah, I figured that dragons had to be mentioned in the new area. Yeah. Oh, Mario, right? Like the skeleton of Skatha the Worm. That would be... he should be huge, right? Oh, that'd be so cool. Anyway, yeah. So, dragon stuff. Lots of dragons. So, definitely there are dragons. And they would consider elves crunchy and good on toast. And the elves would be really resentful against them. But I don't see any reason why the dragons would feel any special antipathy to the elves necessarily, other than the fact that the elves are good people and the dragons are bad guys, and so therefore their interests are not wholly aligned. But anyway, I should really go pick up my kids now. Thanks. I will speak with Lou Brennan next time, and we will see what comes next. Grifflet is at an exciting moment in the epic quest line here, which I've been looking forward to for some time. So thanks, everybody, for joining me. I will see what's next week. Yes, I will see you guys next week. So thanks, everybody. Bye now. Thanks for joining in on my rambles around Standing Stone's brilliant digital adaptation of Tolkien's world. If you enjoy these adventures, please consider supporting this and other entertaining educational programming by donating at signumuniversity.org/fund.